Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Driven Shot podcast. My name is Peter Monena, also known as Barça DNA, and today's video we'll talk about the Barcelona players officially returning for preseason. It is the beginning of the 25 to 26 season, and so without further ado, let's get to it. All right. So today was a very positive day for Barcelona. The players are officially back in for preseason, undergoing their medicals today, July 13th. Many of the players showing up in very good spirits. The only players who weren't there would be Pablo Torre. He's able to finalize a departure away from the club to Mallorca. But apart from that, everybody else was there. The players in very good spirits, all smiles all around. Players from different sides of the world all coming back from their vacations, from their trips, and now getting ready to begin a new season under Hansi Flick, of course, his second in charge of the club. His first season ending in Barcelona, winning the domestic treble and reaching the semifinals of the Champions League, losing to Inter, of course. But overall, a very successful season, and a season that leaves the team full of ambition to go ahead and do it again. Such was the joy of last season and the joy of working under Hansi Flick that so many of the Barcelona players actually returned early for preseason, many of whom wanting to show to Hansi Flick that they have a point to prove in the upcoming season, many of whom were also Barca B players who are looking to break into the first team. So lots of positivity, lots of players very excited. And so this video here, especially at the start of preseason, is mostly just to talk about what are a few things to look forward to as the team approaches the start of preseason officially, with their first game coming on the 27th against Vissel Kobe. I'm sure there will be some matches held in practice and in private before that point, but as we build into the upcoming season, what are some key talking points for us to look to? The first is a big one. It's the arrival of Joan Garcia from Espanyol, 24-year-old goalkeeper from Spain, of course, formerly from Espanyol, joining Barcelona after they paid his 25 million euro release clause. This is a massive signing for the Blaugrana, as Joan Garcia will become Barcelona's first choice goalkeeper. Hansi Flick has made it clear that Joan Garcia is his number one. Wojciech Szczesny is his number two, and therefore Iñaki Peña and Ter Stegen, as of right now, are surplus to requirements. Peña at the moment looks much more likely to leave the club than Ter Stegen, but this has been made clear to the German that he is no longer Barca's first choice goalkeeper, and that role now belongs to Joan Garcia. So it's a massive opportunity for the 24-year-old coming in from Espanyol, a very good goalkeeper, so highly rated and sought after. But he made the choice to join Barcelona, and now ahead of him is a massive season. It's a massive stage in his career, and of course it brings all sorts of joy and excitement, not only for him, but of course for all people who are connected to Barcelona to have a new goalkeeper at the helm. Now, the next talking points are going to center around really the emergence of some young players from La Masia who are coming through and could have massive opportunities in this preseason window. The likes of Jan Virgili, Tony Fernandez, Danny Rodriguez right now will likely not be a big part of preseason due to the shoulder injury that he suffered as he broke through last season. So he might come in towards maybe the end, maybe the start of the season. But also one player to look out for as well is Ibrahim Diarra, who was very impressive for Barcelona as they won the UEFA Youth League last season. He was a massive part of their success, and he'll be one to really show Hansi Flick this summer that he can be part of perhaps even the first team going forward. But also, keep a lookout there for players like L'Angele Fade, also as well, Geoffrey Torrents, also someone who is young, promising, very talented as well. Even Guille Fernandez as well could also be an option. He's been rumored to be going on loan to Andorra to join Gerard Piqué over there, but he's also a very good player to look forward to coming into preseason. Overall, I think another big talking point to look into is obviously the roles of Lewandowski, Rafinha, and Dani Olmo. This will be very, very interesting, especially for Lewandowski. Of course, he is getting up there in age. This will likely be his last season at the club as Barca's leading number 9. And so going into this campaign, we've heard rumors already, even before the start of preseason, that Dani Olmo is going to have a heightened role in this team. He's going to play a lot more matches, especially as the false nine, which he did a few times last season and did very well. Of course, he'll be hoping for an injury-free campaign, similar to Pedri. Now, last season, of course, he had a few niggly issues, Dani Olmo, especially when he was building up form and momentum in this Barca team. So hopefully for him this season, he can have a season like Pedri did, where he does remain injury-free. Of course, the club are trying to do work around his body to understand what the cause of these injuries are and how to prevent them. So hopefully the work done behind the scenes pays off and he can have a very, very good campaign. It's also going to be very, very interesting to see the role of Rafinha. Now, he's coming off of a Ballon d'Or worthy season. Absolutely phenomenal for Barcelona there, Rafinha, in the upcoming season. Of course, the La Liga player of the season for last year, and now coming into his, I think, 4th season now at the club. It's a really, really big window for Rafinha, a massive chance for him to prove himself at this club, of course, as he already has in his work last season. But now, I think there will be some questions over, was this perhaps a one-season wonder? Was this perhaps maybe a fluke season for Rafinha where he had a really, really good campaign? Can he repeat what he did last season? And especially, could he do it in a new role? Could he do it as Barca's number 10 rather than really as Barca's left winger for last season? Of course, a lot of this depends on what signings Barca will make when it comes to the left wing position. Of course, we were heavily linked with Nico Williams until he, at the last minute, chose to stay at Bilbao. And so right now, Barca's targets will be Luis Diaz and Marcus Rashford. And alongside that, perhaps if Joan Garcia can impress in preseason, he might very well be in the team this season. He might very well be one of those options there on the left wing, alongside also potentially Daniel Rodriguez. So very, very exciting times to see who makes the cut on that side, who will play alongside Rafinha, and the role of Rafinha, especially playing as a 10, right in behind the striker, perhaps in behind even Olmo this season. And could Rafinha flourish? Could he get more goals? Could he get more involved even than he was last season? And perhaps, could this be a role that really, really brings the best out of his game? We'll see what comes next with that. And then, of course, another big, big talking point will be Lamine Yamal. I mean, what else can we already say about this kid? Just turned 18 today. A very, very happy birthday to Lamine Yamal. But of course, this season, he will be Barca's new number 10. Of course, this comes after the departure of Ansu Fati to Monaco that is now done and confirmed, which means Lamine Yamal will be Barca's new number 10. This is a massive, massive deal. Of course, it's a huge thing for marketing reasons, of course. One player who is so well known, so flairful, one who really draws the attention wherever he goes. It's a massive move, of course, for him to wear the legendary number 10, given how similar his style is to the likes of Messi, Maradona, players of the past who've donned that shirt. He's a very, very, very highly rated player. Of course, so many people already thinking that at just 17 years old, now 18 years old, that he is the best player in the world. Now, again, he had a huge, huge season last time out. Very, very impressive. Of course, the highlight of his season came against not only Real Madrid across the season, but also against Inter Milan in the Champions League, where he was absolutely brilliant across both legs, mesmeric performances, and of course, in the Nations League against France, put on a really, really impressive display there, a key moment there in his season to really show the world how good he truly is. And so, for Lamine Yamal, this upcoming season, for such a starlet, he will be taking on more responsibility. He will be growing more and more into that shirt. And you just wonder, with how good he's been over the past 12, really, perhaps even 16 months, I mean, what more is to come? How much more can he continue to grow and develop and improve? And what will that look like in a Barca shirt as the number 10? It is a massive, massive campaign ahead for Lamine Yamal. for someone who I'm sure will be a Ballon d'Or winner, someone who I'm sure will be known as the best player in the world, if not already known as of that now. So a very, very exciting season ahead for him. And also, a key talking point will be the role of Gavi coming into this season. Of course, last time out, really, it was for him to recover, coming off of an ACL and meniscus tear, a long time to recover and get back to his best, especially when it comes to the physical side, being sharp and everything. So he's now back. He now has had time to really recover, go through the season, play some matches as well. Also, as well, have now a preseason to fully grow into Hansi Flick's team. Now, we've seen Gavi deployed in a few different roles, of course, last season. Notably, one of them, towards the end of the campaign, was a deep role alongside Pedri, almost as a pivot there. So this will be very intriguing. What role will Gavi have going into next season, and how can he continue to grow into this Barcelona team and really recapture the prominence that he had in the team, of course, before his ACL injury. And now, just one last talking point before we sign off here, and this will be about the role of a new signing who's gone under the radar a lot, and it's Rooney Bardghji, the young player there from Sweden who has joined Barcelona. He is a right winger by trade, similar to Lamine Yamal in stature and in style in terms of how he likes to play the game. And so this will be a very, very important window for Rooney Bardghji. He has already been linked with a few moves away from the club on loan for this season. And of course, since Barça Athletic are playing in the 4th tier of Spanish football, it's going to be very, very important for Rooney Bardghji to really, in preseason, make himself, in Hansi Flick's eyes, a part of the first team. Because whilst Barcelona do have an idea to try to rotate Bardghji between the first team and Barça Athletic, because of how low Barça Athletic are in Spanish football when it comes to the divisions, it would not be best for Rooney Bardghji in terms of his development to have to play at a 4th tier level and then try to bounce back and play at the first team level. So ideally for Rooney Bardghji, it's gonna be a case of either he impresses in preseason and really draws the attention of Hansi Flick and makes himself, a fixture and present in his mind for the first team, or it could be the case that Bardghji, whether he does well or doesn't do well, perhaps in preseason, ends up going on loan to hopefully get some more experience there playing in the top flight, especially here in La Liga. Now, of course, my hope for him is that he does do well and that he does impress and that he can stay in the first team. I think he's a very, very exciting, very young, underrated player in my eyes. But also, I think as well that it's very important to have a player, especially on that side, to help give rest to Lamine Yamal. I think last season he played a lot of football, a lot of minutes, really too many minutes for his age, and we were fortunate in many ways that he didn't get injured. So hopefully for Rooney Bardghji, he can do really, really well in preseason and make a sizable contribution to the first team in this campaign and help as well alternate with Lamine Yamal. But that's it for now. This is mostly just a bit of a, shorter video, perhaps, just to get the ball rolling. Of course, we are entering preseason. There will be much more videos to come, perhaps on a few signings, perhaps on Hansi Flick, the style, what will Barca look like going into the season, how will they play, how will they approach certain matches. But that is it for me today. Just a simple video talking about preseason. The players are back now. Barca is back. Their first game will be in about 2 weeks' time over in Japan against Vissel Kobe. But until then, I will see you very, very soon. Take care, and Visca Barça.